I am First Select Woman Brenda Kupchik, and I am very excited to have our governor and our lieutenant governor, Congressman Himes, visit one of our beloved businesses, Bigelow Tea, to talk about an amazing program in the workplace and all the good work they do and the grant that's going to help so many people. So welcome, Governor, Lieutenant Governor, and Congressman Himes, and I'm going to hand it over to Cindy.
All right, well, this is one of my more stressful situations. My whole job is to keep everybody safe here, so I am sorry if I've been really trying hard to do that, but it's very important, especially I want to make sure the governor stays safe. So welcome all for being here to Bigelow Tea, and I do appreciate all you're doing, even if I've been trying to keep everybody at bay. This is a great program that the workplace is doing with this federal fund, and we're so excited to be part of it. Really, manufacturing is so near and dear to us. We've been here for 75 years, and we think it's such an honorable profession. And so to be able to take young people starting at 16 and give them the skill sets so that we can be fortunate for them to be able to work at a company like ours is really a program that's very exciting and very needed in the state. So we love Connecticut and we love manufacturing. So for us, it's really the perfect marriage. So we're really excited to be part of it. And thanks, Joe, for all your great work in making something like this happen. You're exceptional. Thanks, guys.
Okay, they told me it was okay to take this down, so when I got here, so. Well, thank you, Cindy, very much. Appreciate your kind comments. Bigelow Tea is a great company in our region. They have a very high standard for community service, and they enforce the healthcare rules, as you can all see, very much committed to it. But Cindy is a member of the Governor's Workforce Council, and she serves as chair of a committee that I serve on for supportive services. And every meeting, she's very, very nice to me, so I appreciate that. Very, very helpful. So at any rate, thank you. We're here to celebrate a grant. Now, it's a grant for $2 million, and the workplace, I was telling the governor, we have a very good record with winning competitive grants. The important part of this is that there were only 14 awards in the entire nation. I don't know the exact number of applicants, but I know it's in the hundreds. This is a federal demonstration project. So to win this award with simply $2 million really means that it's in our lap, but it's got the potential for substantial greater funds, meaning serving more people. So it was important to get as far as we got. You know, some may ask, really, that the whole notion of being an apprentice or having an apprentice certification, it's been around for 100 years. It's not new. But there's a reason why its applicability is important at this point. Employers want some form of measurement, some way in which they can say, this candidate is a better risk. This candidate has been through a vigorous exercise of training. It could be hundreds of hours in certain cases. But that person survived it, went through it, and now has a license that makes them an apprentice. So it's that step to take that gives people a sense that this candidate is a good bet. And therefore, let's take our chances and let's look forward to a good future with them. So it's a statement of readiness. And why is it important? It seems like a long time ago, but it was only the 6th of March, 4 months ago, somewhere thereabouts, that we had an unemployment rate in Connecticut of just over 3%. On a national level, it was about the same, but we had created 200,000 or 300,000 jobs the month before, and every index that we have indicated that we were at a record rate of success. And then within days, the economy was shut down and things changed. So it's important to grow the economy from here and provide jobs. This grant is called a youth apprenticeship grant. So it's going to focus on people the ages of 16. Federal government now takes the official definition of youth up to 24. It's going to specialize with folks from the urban centers. It's going to deal with people that may not even have a high school diploma. And in the process of getting an apprenticeship license, they're going to get that high school diploma. and they're going to then be ready to be competitive in the workforce. I'm grateful for this opportunity. Federal demonstration projects are just that. They're sort of, they're places where the feds will make an investment, but it's not the only investment. And that is, it can attract private sector support, it can attract, the philanthropic support, it can grow and grow and grow. It kind of positions you to, as I said, to put it in your lap. You deliver, you get us some good performance, and you really make something out of it, it can make a world of difference. So I want to thank our partners, our corporate partners, Bigelow, and you're going to hear from Nicole Russo in just a few minutes from what is now called Microboard. It used to be called MPI, Microboard Processing in Seymour, Connecticut. Our community colleges, and we've got the president of the regional colleges with us, Tom Coley. But we've been working with Houstonic on manufacturing programs for a long time. So I want to thank everybody, and we're going to let the program go on. We're going to ask the speakers to be as brief as they can because we hear there's a bad storm out there, and we want to get you guys home and on the road before it gets too bad. So with that, I've got the great pleasure to introduce Lieutenant Governor. And let me just say about Lieutenant Governor, she's been at the workplace a number of times. She was our guest speaker at the state capitol for a Platform to Employment program just a few weeks ago. But when I put that program together, P2E, we call it, Platform to Employment, I remember making what I thought was a courtesy call, but it turned out to be a substantive call with Susan about whether or not this free market element should be part of the program. I wasn't sure of it, but she gave me advice that that was the way to go. And Susan, or Governor, that made all the difference. So I give you Lieutenant Governor blessings.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. It is such a pleasure to be here at this iconic family-owned but growing manufacturing company. Cindy, thank you so much for having us, and thank you for collaborating with our administration literally at every step of the way. We're so grateful. Look, our manufacturing sector in Connecticut is one of the most vibrant parts of our economy, and it hasn't stopped. It has gone through COVID-19 at a very rapid pace, and we know that over the next 3 years, we need 30,000 trained people to take good-paying manufacturing jobs in our state. And what we have is a pipeline problem. Right now, we have some community colleges and schools that are cranking out small cohorts, but cohorts of a dozen or 25 aren't enough. We need a pipeline where we have hundreds of our young people being trained for all of those great jobs in aerospace, defense, biomedical, manufacturing. And we need young people being trained in IT and cybersecurity and for healthcare positions. So it's so critical that our educational institutions, our colleges, our tech schools, our high schools, our workforce boards like the Workplace Inc., all partner with employers to keep this pipeline coming so that our young people are ready for really great careers. They can establish themselves in good careers and make their families and careers here in our beautiful state of Connecticut. So we are just thrilled. Thank you, Joe Carbone, for all of the great workforce development that you've been doing, and we appreciate that. And we so appreciate the fierce advocacy of our Congressman Jim Himes for securing a $2 million grant for this youth apprenticeship program from our United States Department of Labor. Representative Himes, along with our congressional delegation, has been doing a great job for our state, and it is our pleasure to introduce Congressman Himes. Thank you so much for this incredible job.
Susan, thank you, and thank you all for being here. I'm just thrilled to be here with the governor, Governor Lamont, the lieutenant governor, First Selectwoman Kupchik, and all my cousin legislators from the Connecticut legislature. We're celebrating $2 million in federal funds. The one point I want to make is that this is a lot more than just $2 million. If you live or serve in Connecticut, you wake up, as I do every single morning, aware of the gaps that we have in the state of Connecticut. If you live in southwestern Connecticut or represent southwestern Connecticut, as I do in the House of Representatives, you wake up, as I do every single morning, aware of the fact that there are communities of great prosperity and great opportunity, side by side with communities that don't have that prosperity and that opportunity. And this is the answer. It's not the only answer, but it's one of the answers to the gaps that exist in the state of Connecticut. We're newly aware, perhaps newly aware, of the gaps that exist in the opportunities that are distributed by racial grounds in this country and in this state. This is one of the answers. And the reason it's one of the answers is because we have employers like Bigelow and employers all over the state who are looking to hire. We have people who want to be hired, but who don't have the hard and soft skills that are necessary to take on the jobs that surround us. The jobs that will put you into the American middle class, the jobs that will allow you to say, I benefited from the American dream. That's why this is a lot more than $2 million. This is one of the answers to the gaps and the problems that exist here in the state of Connecticut and throughout the country. So it's not just about money, of course, it's about wonderful leadership, and we're seeing that with the governor and the legislators who are here with me, the First Selectwoman of Fairfield, and it's also about the private sector, who really stretches, takes risks on people. Maybe it's formerly incarcerated people. Maybe it's folks that are just coming up to speed with respect to those skills. Cindy Bigelow, of course, embodies those values through all that she does. And by the way, when it's safe, walk through Bigelow. You will meet people who have worked here for decades, multi-generational people who have good health care, who have good wages. It's all said by, if you look behind me, you'll see B Corporation. If you don't know what a B Corporation is, look it up. It's about saying we're more than just about the profit. We're about our communities. We're about doing right. We're about living with the kind of values that make us all proud. So congratulations, Cindy. And Joe Carbone, I love working with Joe Carbone because all I need to do is point him in the direction of a federal grant. There's a very good chance that Joe Carbone is going to win that federal grant. And again, if you haven't walked through the workplace in Bridgeport, you got to do it. Every time you set foot in there, you see people who might otherwise find themselves incarcerated, who might otherwise find themselves homeless, who might otherwise find themselves in a really dire situation, acquiring the skills and getting the assets that will allow them to climb the ladder that so many of us have had the opportunity to climb in this country. So thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Joe, for your leadership. Thank you, Governor, for your leadership. And with that, I think I'm introducing... You are?
Yeah.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to reintroduce Joe Carbone to introduce our governor.
It's okay. I kind of had to insist on introducing the governor because my wife, who rarely interferes with my business, told me I had to promise her that I would say something from her in the introduction of the governor. She told me to thank you, Governor. She said that, you know, she watched and she was as committed as a person could be to watch his briefings every day at 5 o'clock. So as the virus was going on, she would tell me every night, this guy is a model of leadership. He believes in science. He's very cautious with his words, but he makes me feel like I should be comfortable. I should really believe and hope that what he's saying is so and that there's a good future. So she told me to thank you for your leadership. She told me to tell you that you were a comforting, calm voice. Unlike the briefing that usually followed you at 6 o'clock, you made her feel better every day. And she said, if you don't tell him I said that, don't come home. So since she's never asked me before to do anything, I thought I would. But I also want you to know that this may be a federal grant, but this governor has been committed to really the development of a base of apprenticeship types of positions, employment disciplines, We won a grant of $2.5 million just a few days before the shutdown began. So it's not being announced yet, but it's from the state of Connecticut. It was competitive, and it's part of a large pool of funding that this governor supported in order to promote apprenticeship growth in our state. So these are guys, this grant may be federal, but let me tell you, Connecticut is doing everything it has to do to make it central to our work and to make it be a factor that causes the growth that will attract other financial support and other kinds of opportunities. So with that, I give you the governor, and please tell my wife I did what she asked.
I love your wife, Joe. All right, so it's a little gray, rainy. Seems like a pretty good day for Bigelow tea, a nice iced tea. And I was thinking about a joint venture, maybe Bigelow tea and Himes honey. That would be pretty good, I think. I could put that together. And Joe, I mean, a lot of people learn from books and get that, that's where they learn. I had a wonderful apprenticeship when I was young. I got